This 1-hour video is a primer for the full-day course on Supercharging Your Chapter's Turbo Growth. We hope that this introduction will encourage you to attend or host a Supercharging Your Chapter regional event. For more information on how to host an event or where an event may be taking place in your area, please send an email to superchargingyourchapter@gmail.com or call 313-444-WOW4. And now, let's get growing.
Welcome to the Mid-Atlantic District. We're here at the Spring Convention. We have brought with us Vice President for Membership, Mr. Paul Ellinger, who is going to come out to supercharge your chapter.
Good job, buddy. All right, how y'all doing today? All right. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about supercharging your chapter. What is supercharging your chapter about? Actually, supercharging your chapter was developed out of a need that every chapter said that they had. And in fact, there were two of those, growth and singing. So what supercharging your chapter does is shows you simple, effective ways to bring in new members and 7 simple steps to better singing. Sound interesting to you guys? Well, great. Then we're going to have a good time together today. You guys were way ahead of the game. Now, the two components of supercharging your chapter is the singing portion, which is turbo growth. And as you can see from the logo, it is effort-driven. Effort produces growth. Imagine that. And then we have wave box singing, 7 simple steps to better barbershop. Now, I've gone around the country, and I continue to ask this question. Now, we don't have time to do the full thing today, but I say, I want you to face the person next to you, especially if you don't know them, and tell them what you think your responsibilities are to that chapter. Guess how many people will actually say to bring in new members? I just heard somebody say it. Less than 1%. Less than 1% feel it's our responsibility to bring in new members. Okay, but let's bump that number up to 1%. So we now have a choice. We can, as a society, try to make that 1% more effective. Just make them superstars at doing this, right? Or we could engage and mobilize the 99%. Which one makes more sense to you? That is correct, the 99%. But let's talk about some things today. What are my goals for today? My goals are to have people recognize that, or discover that sharing the joy of music with others may actually be in your personality. It actually might be. Next, I give you the tools to help you grow. That would even be a higher level of success. Would you agree with that? You begin to think, hey, we could actually do this. Then I would like it if we could start to think, maybe I could start doing this. Maybe I could do this. And lastly, we've succeeded immensely if we walk out of here today and people say, I can't wait to get going with this. Would that be success? Yes. All right. Now, here's the thing. What might people think about barbershop if they have never been to a live barbershop performance? What might they think? Boater hats and garter belts. Okay, where else? Right here? Sweet Adeline. Right? 4 guys singing under a lamppost, right? The Music Man, elderly, out of tune, blah, 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 right? Why are we talking about this? Because it's important to know what we think the public thinks. This is what we think the public thinks. We need to know what the landscape looks like. Because when it comes to inviting other people, it doesn't matter what any of us in this room think or anybody watching on video thinks. We're already in it. It doesn't matter what we think. It matters what the future barbershoppers think. Would you agree with that? What do people actually think when they hear our music? Watch this. Wow! Great harmonies. I love that I could understand the words. How many people have heard that? Exactly. Round of applause, right. I love that a cappella sound. The singers are having so much fun. People that hear our music love it. Now, people in this room sing in choruses that will score in the 50s, and people watching in other places sing in the 50s. And we have choruses that are singing in the 80s. Everyone hears these things. Because what we do is amazing to people. The people that hear our music have nothing but rave reviews for us. So clearly, we do not have a product issue. We don't have people love what we have. People love barbershop. Some just don't know it yet. That's right. There are no such things as non-barbershoppers. There's future barbershoppers. What is the most effective way for people to hear barbershop? Live, according to our next slide, correct. Because a gentleman in Seneca Land District said something that really struck a chord with me. He goes, yeah, you just can't get goosebumps from a CD. And I thought that was brilliant. Because it's that give and take. It's that give and take when you're on the stage. As you give, the audience gives back and you give more, right? You can't experience that with a CD, even as good as it is. So, the most effective way for people to hear our music is? Correct. Moving on. So now that we have the most effective way for people to hear our music, what is the most effective way to encourage people to be a part of it? Now, we have face-to-face conversations, phone conversations, handwritten letters, personalized letters, mass mailers, advertisements, silence, doing nothing is at the bottom. Why? Because it is proven that if you don't do anything, nothing happens. Would you agree that these things are indeed in order of priority or success rate? Yes? Okay, why? We have face-to-face conversations, then phone conversation. What's the difference between the two? Visual, yes. It is more personal. The more active and the more personal something is, the more effective it is. The more passive, the less effective it is. So let's go interactive right here. I'd like every person in this room to raise their hand. You may put your hand down if you joined barbershop because someone personally invited you to a chapter meeting, to a show, personally invited you. 70% of you just put your hands down, did you not? Now, the remainder of you, keep your hands up. You may put your hands down if you joined barbershop because you heard the music and you found a way to pursue it on your own. You said, oh my gosh, there's an ad, that's the show, that's the guys I've been looking for. Or you went online and you found them, or you saw the bumper sticker, or you found a way to pursue that music after you heard it. Some are second-generation barbershoppers. If you're second-generation barbershopper, you can put your hand down, because I would say that that is either hearing the music or being personally invited. Or both. And then lastly, I'm just going to say, I'm going to submit to you that seeing an advertisement or a bumper sticker, nobody reads in the paper and says, looking for barbershop singers, call such and such. No idea what that is, but I'm joining. Nobody does that. I just submit to you that if you hear the music, you have an affinity for it, and you chose to pursue it. So what we've just now shown is the only two effective ways that people join barbershop is what? Personal invitation and hearing our music. Live. Period. Those are the two most effective ways. Get it? Got it. Good, you're with me. Moving on. So the two keys of growth, personally inviting someone. We are a grassroots organization, like it or not. So putting out some big advertisement campaign, although might make us feel good about that we're putting money into something, will not be as effective. Why? It's not as personal, and it's not as active. Might cost more, but not personal and active. So Marketing 101 says, if we're going to be successful, we need to hit people at one of these two times. Nod your head if you would agree with that. All right. Marketing 102 says, if you want to increase your chances of success dramatically, you hit them at both of those times. So to have the best success, we need to allow people to hear our music and then personally invite them to attend. That's a bit of an epiphany for us, because I don't think we realize that. We have an excellent product. We have an opportunity to change other people's lives. And the way that that happens is one connection at a time. So what we need now is a plan. And this plan should include an understanding of why people do or should join. Essentially, we need to understand what we have that people want. A proven, effective, simple, and easy-to-use approach for inviting people after they hear our music. Why do you come to chapter meetings? What is it that you get out of chapter meetings that you really enjoy? Friendship, fellowship, absolutely. What else? Singing. Fun. It's a no-brainer, right, guys? What we're going to do is talk about a long-haul item. This is what brings people in, but if our chorus, our chapter, our quartet has a purpose, it is significantly more effective in anything you will do. It needs to be, it's always more effective when this purpose is altruistic. Altruistic means unselfish regard for or devotion to the welfare of others. It changes the perspective of each of us from what's in it for me this week? They didn't do anything. I'm not going to show up this week. To one of, how can I help? Now, there's a really big distinction between a goal and an altruistic purpose. A goal is, we want to become the premier singing group in our area. A purpose is making a difference in the lives of people outside of your group and is concerned with the needs of others, not your own needs. Food, shelter, health, love, acceptance, the basic needs that each of us have. You have an opportunity to make a difference. And what I would challenge every quartet and every chapter to do is to choose an altruistic purpose that represents you. The more altruistic our purpose, the more our membership recognizes the need to promote and promulgate our society, both by bringing in new members and increasing donations to Harmony Foundation and Sing Canada. I am proud to be an ambassador of song, donating to the Harmony Foundation here in the United States. Now, we've got the lay of the land, but now we're going to get into the heart and soul of Supercharging Your Chapter's turbo growth. The opener. And until you have a higher success rate, this needs to be word for word. Let's say we have our people. They've just heard us sing, correct? We're going to allow them the opportunity to recognize that what we have may be appealing. We say, thank you for coming out. So, where do you like to do your singing? It all starts with this simple question. Let's go through some other iterations. What if we just said, hey, thank you for coming out tonight. Do you sing? Nope. You are officially done. Rule number 1, we don't ask what kind of question? A yes-no question. Well, where do you sing? You're going to sing, I don't sing anywhere, or I don't sing. That's exactly what he just said, I don't sing. Here's why. Many people will define singing as performing in front of other people. Why? Because they just saw you do it. And they're going to assume that that's what you are looking for as well. At best, you have a long way to go to engage them in a conversation about singing, let alone about joining. Let's look at the next iteration. Where do you do your singing? Again, I don't sing anywhere. I don't sing. I'm not a singer. Granted, we are allowing people to define what singing is to them, which opens many doors. But people will still hold back information, as many think it isn't singing unless you are singing in front of others. And of course, we want to welcome the around-the-house singers too. Would you agree with that? All right, moving on. Where do you like to do your singing? Yep, they like to sing in the shower, in the car, at church, etc. We not only allow people to define what singing is to them, but we also encourage them to share with us where it is they like to sing. Because some people may say, well, I sing at birthday parties, I sing at church, but I have to. And I'll tell you what, they've been ridiculed, and that hurts. So this can be a touchy subject for people, and we want to allay those fears. So here's the last one. So, ... Where do you like to do your singing? Why is the so and the ... vitally important? Because if I just jump right into things and say, hey, thanks for coming out tonight. Where do you like to do your singing? You're like, whoa. Kind of throws you for a loop, doesn't it? But here's the thing. If we start off with, thank you for coming out tonight. So, what happened with that so? It's going to be a subject changer. And then the ... is important because it allows people to process, oh, like something just came to us. We're allowing them to process the subject change. We don't want people to feel rushed or put upon, and the emphasis is on the word what? Your. Because it really is about them. And we want to give people full permission to define singing however they wish. So what I'd like you to do is I'm going to say the line, and then I'd like you to repeat it back to me. I'm going to do the whole thing, and then I'm going to point, and we can do this together. So, where do you like to do your singing? Very good. The emphasis is on your. You had the pause after so, and this is all important. Here's the problem, though. We've now got a great opening question, but how many possible answers are there? You know, they're singing in the shower, the car, church, karaoke, around the house or the garage, birthday parties, past glee clubs, and many more. But realize there are only 2 affirmative answers to this question. In front of others or alone. That's it. Would you agree with that? All right, in front of others, church, karaoke, glee clubs, so on and so forth. But now the big question to answer is, anybody have an idea as to why people like to sing alone. They've been embarrassed. It makes them feel good. Low or no confidence. Here's what it all comes down to. Because they have a fear of being judged. It all comes back to being judged. Because I'm going to tell you, nobody lives on a deserted island and says, could it be, could it happen, golly gee, caught me a napping. Well, I stink, I'm never doing that again. Nobody does that. It takes someone else to tell me that I stink. Save it. So the only reason someone sings alone is because they have been judged by someone else. They've been told. Maybe you should just mouth the words. When does that normally happen? When does that normally get said? What age do you think?
High school.
High school?
Grade school.
Elementary school. That's exactly right. And yet people still remember that today. Words dig deep. Don't quit your day job. Yeah, heard that one. Being laughed at or ridiculed for their singing by peers or someone that is important to them. Man, you're just a horrible singer. Give me another beer. Right? All these things, words and actions cut deep. And it is what keeps people from singing in front of others and expressing themselves. Because that's what music is. It's an expression of ourselves. Because every song that we sing, there's a part of that character that we can relate with. And we express it our way. And now we're being told we're not good enough to do that. So what we need to do is to put people at ease that have fears about being judged when they sing. They need to know that they are coming into a safe environment. So our response is, thank you for coming. So where do you like to do your singing? They answer with one of the affirmative ways. The people that sing in front of others is very easy. We would love to have your voice, because I'm sure we could learn a lot from one another. Do you have a card? But here's the more likely answer. Oh, I sing in the car, right? And here's what we can say. You know what? I like to sing alone too, because there's no one there to judge me. But you know what? That's how I feel when I sing with these guys. We have pure beginners to the very talented. The cool thing is that we all get better together. They even give you learning tracks with your part predominant in one side and the other three parts in the other, so you can sing whenever you want. And you know what? It's so fun. What did we just do in about 30 seconds? We both understood and acknowledged their fear of singing in front of others. We let them know that no one is there to judge us. That barbershop welcomes people of all musical levels, including 0. That it's made easy with learning tracks and quickly how they work. That you can practice whenever and wherever you want, even in the privacy of your car or your home. That there is a camaraderie with the guys, and lastly, that it's fun. We did all of that in 30 seconds. Although each person is different, the temptation is to want to spend more time selling the person on the idea at this point. But realize this is a passing conversation, and not one that they planned on having. They're on their way to the car, guys. They don't want our life stories. Get in, get out. Let them know what's out there for them. Make them feel welcome. And follow up with them when it's convenient for them. Of course, if you have a person that shows a genuine interest, then feel free to invite them right there on the spot. But generally, that's a decision that they need to process a little bit. So, do you have a card? Okay, good. Now, do most people have a card on them? No. So why am I asking that? Well, in case they do, absolutely. In case they do, who's in control of the next conversation? Me. Because I've got the card. Of those people, if I've got 100 people with their names and numbers, how many of those people are going to get a call from somebody in the chorus? 100. Oh, great. So thanks. Hey, I'd love to talk to you more about it. Here's my card. How many calls do you get from those guys? The most common answer is 0. Because you get, oh, thank you very much. Oh, thanks for inviting me. Yeah. And that's what ends up happening. And are you ever going to be able to follow up with them? No. So why am I asking, or why are we asking for a card if the majority of people don't have one? Well, it's very uninvasive. It's still, hey, do you have a card? And if you have a card, then great. And if they don't, then it's okay to, what's a good number to reach you at? But if we jump right to, hey, what's your phone number? Can put you off a little bit, right? Now, if we want to grease the skids for that next contact, here's how we can do that. I'd like to tell you more about it when it's convenient for you. Do you have a card? And we've talked about this. Oh, what's a good number to reach you at? Great. Which is more effective? Would you mind if I got your phone number? Or, what's a good number to reach you at? Right? We just act like we've done this 1,000 times. And that we're not out to put them out of anything. We're out to help. Hey, we asked for your card, didn't have one, you got a phone number. Cool. If they say, can you just email me? We have 2 possible responses. 1, I'm not really good at email. Hey, I'll just text it to you really quickly. Where should I text it? What'd you just do? You got his mobile number, not his phone number. You got his mobile. Or 2, I'm sorry, I'm just not good at email. And there's several of us that really aren't good at email. So what's a good evening phone number at which to reach you? That's it. Now, here's the last thing. If we go to make that phone call in the future and say, I'm just going to use Oli again, I apologize. Oli, it was great talking to you. Now, you remember who I am when I call you in a couple of weeks, right? Sure. All right, great. I look forward to talking to you. Why is that important? Because when I call, I say, hey, Oli, it's Paul from the barbershop show. Remember me? What is he doing mentally? He's trying to find a connection to how he actually does know me. Rather than, hey, Paul, it's Oli from the barbershop show. I was calling to see if you wanted to show up. I don't really know this guy. He's not making a connection. So when we leave people on that first contact, now you'll remember when I call, right? Great. I look forward to talking to you. And I'm sure we do actually look forward to talking to them, because we do. Because how many in here wish they would have, they joined barbershop at just the right time? Nobody here wishes they would have joined earlier, right? We're doing people a favor by providing them with the opportunity to enjoy something pretty fantastic. We have now built our opening script. If a chapter wants to grow, everyone should use this after every appropriate performance. You get hired by Ford Motor Company to come in and be background music to their Christmas dinner. Do you think that's the appropriate time? No. You are background music. After your show, appropriate? Yes. You're doing a Music in the Park series afterwards. Absolutely. So, everyone should use this after every appropriate performance. I've even created a script for the I can't sing response. So we say, thanks for coming out tonight. So, where do you like to do your singing? I can't sing? Great. But you sing along with the radio, right? I mean, you sing at birthday parties, right? Well, great. You know, I like to sing alone too, because, you know, no one's there to judge me. If you're singing in the car, you're singing alone, no one's there to judge me. And we're right back into our full script. No one's there to judge me. But you know what? That's how I feel when I sing with these guys. And down the list. We've allayed their fears. You can do this. And we've talked about it. It's scarier thinking about it than actually doing it. But I won't know the people that I'm going to talk to, Paul. I call this the Bill Cosby effect. How many of you would feel totally comfortable if you were at lunch or dinner and Bill Cosby was sitting next to you at the table? To just, Mr. Cosby, I just wanted to say I really enjoyed you on that show. Thanks. How many of you would feel comfortable with that? Absolutely. Why? He's been in your living room for years. And guess what? When we're up performing on this stage, these people know exactly who you are. They just watched you for an entire hour, watching you have the time of your life. They don't feel uncomfortable at all about you approaching them. They know who you are. Oh, but I'm not a salesperson. You're right. You're not. And this is not a sales process. Can you actually change whether or not someone likes to sing? No. They either like to sing or they don't. All we're doing is trying to find out what people like to sing and which people do not. And those that like to sing, offer them the opportunity to enrich their lives. So when we get done singing our last note on the stage and the curtains go closed, is that the end of the performance? No. We move quickly out to engage one person that we don't know. Why do we want to engage somebody we don't know? Because I've already asked my brother and my cousin and my son, but if Ole comes and asks my brother or my cousin or my son, it means something different. So be that other person to someone else. Engage one person you don't know. But I might fumble and forget where I'm at. But it's just like music. We need to practice those transitions. And then, just like music, it becomes your own. It becomes your own. You put your own flair and flavor on this. That's what it needs. Otherwise, it's just words on a page. They might say no, but we're not worried about no's. We can't change whether they like to sing or not. Remember, we're only trying to find that out. And we're only concerned with the yeses. That's it. Let's hit the practice track. So what I'd like to do is to have everyone stand up. Go ahead and meet somebody you don't know, if you can, and then choose which role you're going to play. And we're back. How many found it to be very welcoming when you were the person that was hearing it? Yeah. And how many of you found it to be very difficult to make those transitions and do it smoothly? Exactly right. Exactly right. So, how often should we practice this? On a scale from 1 to 10, how important is growth in your chapter to you? Raise your hand when I hit your number and keep it up. 10. 11? You're going to be a while. 10, 9. Keep them up. Oh, I said keep them up. 9. All right, so we're at about 9.5. Hands down. Now, how important is singing better to you in your chapter? 10. 9. 8. About 9.5. That's pretty common. And if that is indeed true, it would make sense for us to spend half of our time on singing and half of our time on growth. But all we are saying is that we spend 5 minutes at every rehearsal. And it's not a true 5-minute session unless every person practices. You know why? When we have a critical mass of people within a chapter that believe it's their responsibility to share what we have with others, the stragglers have no choice but to follow. It is a mindset change. Why so often? Because people are creatures of habit and will go right back to what they have always done. And in short order, you will no longer be thinking of growth or even 5 minutes of rehearsal. It keeps growth in the forefront of the chapter's mind. It makes growth the responsibility of each of us, not just the guys that are currently doing it. Practice makes habits. It trains all of us to be thinking of growth, even when we just hear someone humming behind us in the checkout line, which creates even more opportunities. Yeah, see, you hear that, and you immediately want to harmonize with it, right? We've been trained. And what we want to do is to train ourselves that when we hear somebody going, so, well, you have a nice voice, so where do you like to do your singing? Same thing, Pavlov's dogs. We don't just hear a pitch pipe and all of a sudden we want to sing. We hear somebody else humming and we want to invite them. Key. And then lastly, and most importantly, it changes the mindset of the entire chapter to one of singing and growth, which creates an environment of success. Cattle calls from the stage. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you have men in your life that would like to sing, or ladies, if you just want to get rid of them for a day and kick them out of the house, have them talk to one of the guys in the purple vests here, and we'll make sure that they're gone for a night. Or if you just like to learn how to sing, come and join us. Okay, here's the problem. What I've just done is force every person in the audience to make a decision as to whether or not they will join our group. And their mind starts going, well, I don't know how to sing. I don't know how to read music. I don't know what night they meet. Oh, on Tuesday nights, I might want to join that bowling league. What you've just done is provide them the opportunity to create all the reasons why they're not going to join you. You've prepared them to give you more hurdles. It is worse than doing nothing. Because if you've done nothing, they haven't prepared any kind of response. And many times, unfortunately, that response is based on inaccurate information. Because do you have to know how to read music to join? No. That's exactly right. But people will think that you do. Whenever possible, this should be mentioned during each show. You can have your MC do it, have somebody in your chorus do it, change the numbers to be accurate to your chapter, and then the last sentence is optional. Ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to mention something. Did you know that 70% of these men on the stage tonight did not sing in front of people before joining this group, and that the majority of them can't read music? These are guys that just sing around the house. And look at how much fun they're having performing for you tonight. And aren't they doing a great job? What does that do? What are they thinking now? I had 5 people all just say exactly that. Hey, I could do that. That's exactly what they think. And the next thing is, you now have people watching the show looking for ways to join rather than not to join. And even better than that, they start relating to people up on the stage. I could probably do that. Guys, they've already begun to pick out their riser buddy. What kind of jobs should we get? It's location, location, location. When it comes to growth, increase your chances and choose the performance locations that offer the best opportunities to engage singers afterward. We might sing at a retirement home. Is that the best location to bring in new members? Maybe not. But realize it may fit our altruistic purpose. And it's recognizing what kind of performances you're looking for. Preparing for that phone call. Now, anybody that goes through Supercharging Your Chapter, I'm not going to go through this word for word because you're going to have this in front of you and have fun inviting people to enjoy, again, this great thing we called barbershop. And we talked about this. Now, you remember when I call, right? They are trying to think of how they know us and make that connection. And this is very helpful. Hi, Nick, it's Paul from the Barbershop Show. Remember me? You know, it was great getting to meet you and, more importantly, getting to talk with you the other night. I can't tell you how much fun we had performing, and the camaraderie and singing, just make rehearsals, such a blast. Why should people join? Because the singing and friendships are such a release from the daily grind. I wanted to call and extend a personal invitation to you so you could check it out for yourself, just for a night, and just see how much fun it really is. Anyway, we meet on Tuesday nights at the give location here. I'd be happy to share a ride with you. No pressure, just fun. So which night would work better for you, this Tuesday night or next Tuesday night? That's it. If their schedule doesn't fit with your meeting night, find a chapter that meets on an open night for them. Remember, if they join, they will be bringing in more singers in your area too. Here's kind of the key. We are in this together. It's not us and them. It's we. And the more we work at helping each other, because should we be telling people about Sweet Adelines? Absolutely. Because the chances of a husband or a significant other joining barbershop skyrockets when somebody else is already in Sweet Adelines. Right? It's we. Now, what if someone just says, I don't like a cappella, I like this kind of music. Great, enjoy that. What's good for the arts is good for music. What's good for music is good for a cappella. What's good for a cappella is good for barbershop. And what's good for barbershop is also good for Sweet Adelines. Would you agree with that? Here's some perfect ways to fail. We could go back to doing exactly what we've always done. 2, we could do cattle calls from the stage, and we know why those don't work. We're forcing a decision. Be the guy that doesn't participate. Do it for a little while, and then stop. Measure how many new members you get. That seems kind of odd. Remember, it's participation and effort driven. Those lead to the successes. Having successes and then stop resting on our laurels. Not measuring improvement, which leads to successes. Choose the wrong things to measure. Don't spend 5 minutes at every rehearsal working on your invitation. Perfect ways to succeed. Host a Supercharging Your Chapter regional event. Work at encouraging every man to take part in the 5 minutes. Measure what percentage of members made a contact. Why are we only measuring what percentage of members made a contact? I go and engage 4 people. And Rich goes and engages 4 people. Rich engages 4 people. They all like to sing, and they all show up to the next rehearsal. I engage 4 people, and I have 4 people that do not like to sing. Well, they said they didn't like to sing. They didn't say no. They said they didn't like to sing. So it's effort-driven, because the next time, I might have the 4 people that like to sing, and Rich may not. Measure how many members obtained a phone number. Maintain a database of contact numbers. Measure how many follow-up calls were made and put them on a follow-up as necessary. So in other words, oh, it didn't work for them right now, new job, new whatever, great, call them when it's more convenient. Wear name tags to every rehearsal. Why? Well, it reminds us that we need to grow and is good for when people start coming through those doors. Let me share something with you. I have a chapter that had not grown 1 member in years. We went in, gave them Supercharging Your Chapter, and in 90 days, they were up 30%. Thank you, yeah. Give them a round of applause, absolutely. And here's what I'll tell you. They showed up to one of the leadership academies, and they said, oh yeah, it's great. And you know what? We're terrible at it. Who else would like to be terrible at this? All right. Yeah. Lastly, share successes. So would you like to see at least one little thing from Wavebox Singing right now? All right. Everybody stand up. Now, just start shouting out, what are some of the things that you should do in order to get in the perfect singing position?
Posture.
Posture, which is what? Shoulders back, yep.
Hips pointed forward.
Feet, shoulders width apart, correct. Chest high. Chin neither up nor down, nor forward nor back. Loosen the midsection. Knees not locked. What? And knees not locked is what we're going to go with here. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you in 60 seconds, we will have every person in this room in the perfect singing position, and I will not tell you to do any one of those things. You ready? What I'd like to do with your body only, I would like you to show me, not with your face, with your body only, show me sad. Now show me power. Right? Now, show me proud. But we're going to adjust this slightly. Not proud, haughty. Proud, regal. Anybody seen the King's Speech? You see how he carried himself? Look around the room right now. Shoulders back. Chest high, loosen the midsection, feet directly under the shoulders, knees not locked, chin not up, not down, not forward, not back. Gentlemen, you are now in the perfect singing position, and I didn't tell you to do one of those things, did I? Give a round of applause if you enjoyed that. All right, have a seat. So now I'm going to tell you that there are 6 other steps. And even a mindset change takes place, and that's a big key element to everything we're going to cover today. When we're singing, we need to get away from, oh, we worked really hard on this, and I hope you like it, and our director is... Let the audience come to you. Proud, regal, and come to me. It's about mindset change, and when you take that away, that you are out to please somebody, it makes it so much easier. Get it? Got it. Good. Here were my goals for today. Provide you with the opportunity to discover that sharing the joy of music with others may actually be in your personality. How many of you felt that we gave you the tools to grow? How many of you felt, hey, we could do this? Maybe I could do this. By round of applause, how many of you can't wait to start using this and telling others about it? Great. Excellent. All right. So, gentlemen, start your engines. It starts with us. And it starts with us. and you, and you, and you, and you. We need to change our mindset. It's not someone else's job to bring in new members. It's all of ours. It really is. And it's easy. It's fun. It is about effort. It's about effort. I finally created an online process to keep us on task. And it takes about 4 minutes that you can kind of keep track of your chapter online. And once you enroll your chapter, you have access to this, and you can keep track of, well, how many members did we have that participated? What percentage of our members participated in the 5 minutes? Did we do the 5 minutes? How many participated? On a scale from 1 to 10, how serious were they? On a scale from 1 to 10, how did we do in the areas of fun, camaraderie, and singing for the evening? Let me make something very clear. It is not the goal to have a 10 in every area. It's really kind of impossible. Because as we're preparing for a show, a little more singing goes on. And as we're at our Bratwurst Fest, a little more camaraderie and fun goes on. And there's plenty of opportunities that are in between there. So the goal is not to be a 10 in every area. It's not about overachievement. It's just kind of, hey, where are we at? The scripts will be made available on the Society website, and anyone can use those. The one caveat that I will tell you is just having the scripts may not be enough. Attending an event, asking questions, developing a plan just for your chapter is the most effective way. We have trainers that we've trained to go around the country, and we're training more, and we have met every single need and request so far, and we plan on keeping that record intact. I'll give you one example. Went out with a chorus that had gone through Supercharging Your Chapter, and they were going to be singing this past Christmas season in a mall. And this chorus had sung in the center of the mall and in the past, and it was piped throughout the entire mall. Pretty cool, right? Well, they show up, and they aren't in the center of the mall. They're outside of Macy's. And it happened to be in the Detroit area. How many people in the Detroit area, after the car companies and all that, do you think actually shop at Macy's right now? Yeah. So the foot traffic was not there. And about 12 people were walking by and actually stopped and listened. Want to take a guess as to how many names and numbers they got? 7. It's quite a hit ratio, fellas. Start thinking about your chapter. How many members do you have? If you have over 50% of the people giving their names and numbers, and then find out what percentage of those people would actually show up, and how many performances you do, run the numbers yourself. Now, that's not the reason to do it. The reason is because it's the right thing. We owe it to people that like to sing to give them the opportunity. Because you know what? We are football after high school. Right, you get it. Because you can't play rec league football. So we are football after high school. The last thing that I wanted to mention about singing at that mall, these people that stopped, when you had this transient crowd, the people that stopped clearly said, I enjoy this. Some underwriting was taking place in real time. Gentlemen, it's been great. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
If you'd like to host or attend a Supercharging Your Chapter event, or if you'd like to apply to become a Supercharging Your Chapter trainer, contact us at superchargingyourchapter@gmail.com, or call 313-444-WOW4. So, where do you like to do your singing?